We all know that ninjas did everything at night, but what the hell did they do during the day? Did they just clock into their shift at their local supermarket? And was being a ninja a side gig for them? The answer is they basically lopped around all day until nighttime, where they finally sprung into action. What do I mean by that, you ask? Well, they literally worked daily jobs as farmers, merchants, craftsmen, and many others, but the entire time their attention was devoted to gathering information and spying. A ninja woke up in the morning, and instead of grabbing their ninja sword or ninja stars, they reached for their hat and shovel. They got ready for their daily jobs, where many were farmers throughout the day. Could you imagine working in your local store and your coworker was secretly a ninja? And these guys must have been horrendous at their jobs, because the entire time they were trying to plan their next midnight assassination. That's actually wrong. Majority of these ninjas spent their entire lives looking ordinary. If you walked around across your busy Japanese village, you would definitely not notice a singular one. Because although they were skilled in throwing ninja stars and breaking into homes during the night, they were also masters of disguise. You being their coworker meant nothing, and you would have definitely not noticed anything out of the ordinary about them. Most ninjas weren't wealthy, so having a daily job was a must for them. You arrive at work. If you pretend to be a farmer, which many were, you genuinely work on the fields. You're planting rice, pulling weeds, preparing fences, feeding animals. It's exhausting work, and that's because it has to be convincing. Imagine a government official passing through the village. If they saw a farmer whose hands were perfectly clean and who couldn't tell wheat from rice, questions would start immediately. So a successful ninja had to become an expert in whatever identity they used. Every conversation mattered. At the local well, people gossiped. Someone mentions a tax collector arriving next week. Another complains that soldiers pass through the day. A merchant talks about raising food prices. To everyone else, it's harmless small talk. To you, it's literally intelligence. You never ask suspicious questions. You simply listen. People naturally reveal information when they feel comfortable. The less you speak, the more they tell you. Many historians believe this kind of information gathering made up a huge part of a ninja's job. Not fighting, but listening. So not only did these guys attack people at night and work as farmers during the day, but they had auntie-level eavesdropping skills. By midday, you've probably visited the local supermarket. Again, not because you need anything special. You're observing. Is someone acting nervous? If you're lucky, you receive a discreet message. Nothing dramatic. No carrier pigeon landing on your shoulder. Instead, it could be hidden inside a shipment of vegetables, a folded note tucked beneath firewood, or even a coded phrase spoken during what sounds like an ordinary conversation. Ninjas relied heavily on codes, because being caught with written orders literally meant death. Some messages were destroyed immediately after reading. Afternoons were often surprisingly physical. Not because you were fighting enemies, but because you were training. Contrary to popular belief, ninja training wasn't only about swordsmanship. Physical fitness mattered, but so did balance, climbing, swimming, endurance, and flexibility. Some practiced moving silently across different surfaces. Others trained their memory. Imagine being shown a room for 30 seconds and then recreating everything inside from memory. Where every window was, how many guards stood outside, which direction the doors opened. That level of observation became second nature. One skill that's rarely talked about is patience. Now, while you can't even sit through this entire video, a ninja had to master patience. They are so lucky TikTok was not a thing back then, or half of these ninjas would have been wiped out. As a ninja, you might spend 6 hours watching a single road. It's not exciting, but it's realistic. As evening approaches, village life changes. People return home. Smoke rises from cooking fires. Children stop playing. Shops begin closing. For most villages, the day is ending. For you, it might only be halfway finished. Not every night involved dangerous missions. Perhaps you're asked to scout a nearby castle, not attack it, but to simply observe. How many guards patrolled the walls? How often they change shifts? Which gates stay open the longest? This information could later help an entire army without a single drop of blood being spilled. The perfect mission led to no story behind. If you did have to move at night, darkness became your greatest ally. So throughout the whole day, a ninja must maintain a daily job, listen in to gossip, and look out for messages and other people around them, only to then sit and watch buildings for hours to report back to their higher-ups. Only a small fraction of their nights were actually spent springing into action, throwing smoke bombs, and breaking into castles. Which honestly makes real ninjas seem way cooler than the movie version. Because Hollywood would have you believe that they spent every single night backflipping across rooftops, dressed head to toe in black. Reality, most of them were just really good at looking boring. Think about it, the best ninja wasn't the guy with the biggest sword, or the guy you even noticed as being a ninja. It was a guy you completely forgot about 5 minutes after meeting him. The farmer you've seen every morning for the last 5 years. Any one of them could have been gathering information the entire time, and you'd never know. That's what makes them so dangerous. Not because they could fight, but because nobody even realized they were playing the game. So if you ever think about your office job as boring, just remember, somewhere in feudal Japan, there was probably a guy spending 10 hours planting rice, listening to Karen from the next village complain about taxes, only then to sneak into a castle that same night and help change the course of history, and then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below any questions you had and any ideas, and I'm continuously providing bangers for you guys, and make sure you stay tuned for my next video.